That makes a lot of sense. You mentioned Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Let's hear from those guys after the game, and then I want to ask Vinny another question.
I thought it was a great team win. That lead dwindled fast. I know we were up 20, and then they stormed back, and that's what the beauty of basketball is. You can never let up. It's always time, and they were able to cut the lead. But in those moments, those are the moments which you have to just live for. We've been in those positions, and we've lost. So it was great to overcome that with my brother Jason and the rest of our team. That was special. I think this team has trusted me, especially in this playoffs, in those moments, to just be who I am, and I feel like I've been able to just deliver just by being patient and being poised. Those opportunities have presented themselves, and I've been able to take advantage of them. But I give all my credit to my teammates for the trust they had in me, to have the ball in my hands and to be able to make those plays.
We're not necessarily saying like one more or anything like that. We're just saying however long it takes. Nobody's relaxed. Nobody is satisfied. But, just at that moment, just told him I was proud of him, and he said the same thing, and that we got to keep fighting. We can't relax.
All right, Vinny, look, as a professional athlete, you have to say what Jason Tatum said. Hey, series is not over. We can't relax. These are professionals. They get paid. Great players over there, great coaches, blah, blah, blah. Right. But we're not professional athletes. One of us was close to being a professional athlete. It was close. Things just didn't work out the way I thought
What type of professional athlete were you going to be?
Listen, man. I stopped growing. I was, 5'9". I thought I'd be about 6'9", and I kind of stopped growing, man.
Okay, got you. You didn't pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
I'm only missing a foot. That's it, missing a foot. Anyway, those professional athletes say what they got to say, but we do our thing. So you said in your feed, you said the Celtics are oddly dominant. Question is, how dominant? Now, the Boston Globe, where I used to work happily for 10 years, the Boston Globe, before the series started, said the Celtics are 4 wins away from being one of the greatest teams ever, possibly the greatest team ever. And I said, I don't know about that. The greatest team ever? Are they even in the top? Right, exactly. We're on the same page. I went back, I was looking at the 5 best teams in Celtics history. Forget about the NBA history, Celtics history. And I said, okay, maybe they get in at number 5 or number 6, but I don't see them being the greatest team in NBA history. However, they are now on a 10-game winning streak in the postseason.
Yep. Yes, they are.
They won yesterday on the road. So now they are 7-0 on the road. They swept through the Eastern Conference Finals. They are very, 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 very close to sweeping through the NBA Finals. Lost 2 games at home. Okay,
yep.
2 home games to opponents that were not great. But if they finish this thing off, they'll finish with a 16-2 record, an 11-game winning streak, and an 8-0 record on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you look at the Boston Celtics if they're able to pull those things off?
That's why I said oddly dominant in my feed, because they'll wind up with an 80-20 record, which would basically say that they're one of the best teams in NBA history by the numbers, by that. Even during the regular season, their net rating and some of those advanced metrics said that they were far and away the best team. Now, you can look at this, as I do, and say, hey, styles make fights. This is the perfect matchup for the Celtics. Not the Minnesota Timberwolves, not the Denver Nuggets, but these guys, right? Perfect matchup for them. Served on a silver platter, right?
Why? Tell us why. Tell us why it's a perfect matchup.
Because like I know, we talked about the Luka Doncic part, but they have the perimeter defenders to guard Luka and Kyrie and not have to worry about their lack of size being reasonably exposed. And I say size as in without Kristaps Porzingis, right? They don't have there isn't some soul-sucking big down there that's going to really compromise your defense. Like, Boston is playing their way, and they're going to play their way. Now, they are a team that we still doubt, right? I doubted them before the series. I felt like, honestly, before the playoffs, they should get to the finals, but they won't. I was wrong on that one. I'm wrong on this. I will sit here before you today and fall on the sword of Boston, right? I will fall on the sword, Michael Holley. The Celtics are far and away the best team in this series. They've performed far and away like the best team in this postseason, right? It doesn't feel like they're dominant, but they're winning games. They haven't, like you said, they haven't lost a game since, I think, May 2nd, right? They haven't lost a game since game 2 of the second round against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they've caught some breaks, right? You're playing teams without their superstars. You've played teams that are, largely shorthanded, but you play who's in front of you. And I think the general thing to me is this. They have the maturity that backs up those numbers. Now, I'm not a fool. I'm not sitting somewhere and saying, oh, they'd beat the '08 Celtics or they'd beat the 16 Warriors or 17 Warriors, anything like that. Like, no, heavens no. Like, that don't be crazy. You know what I mean? But once you're a champion, you don't have to apologize for anything.
That's right.
You shouldn't have to apologize for a damn thing. Like, the unfortunate part for me is this. Whenever the Celtics win a title, all the Celtics who win all of a sudden become superheroes, right? Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah. I know. Oh, believe me. Yeah.
Paul Pierce everywhere. Rajon Rondo, Kevin Garnett's entertaining, but you get the extra Boston tax. And all of a sudden, if next year happens and they don't win a championship, it's going to be, man, if Kendrick Perkins, if he didn't go down in game 6, we never lost the playoff series. Man, I'm so nauseated with all of y'all. Lying. Right? I'm so nauseated early. I'm nauseated. I'm sick of y'all and ain't even started yet.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I really am.
Oh, I know that. Listen.
They're so good. But they're really, really good.
I feel it. There's so much, and I talked about this watch party. We can get to it. I noticed this last night. I'm sitting here in Boston thinking I'm among family and friends at this watch party because otherwise you invite people to your party. You're not going to invite people there for political reasons. It's not like I don't have to invite, I need to invite them. They're the neighbors, and so I got to invite the neighbors just in case it gets loud and they ain't going to call the cops on us. So I don't really want them there, but come on in. No, we invited people we wanted to hang out with. But as I sat there among family and friends, I was struck by how much Boston hatred there is. And it was just Boston hatred. Like, so many people said, oh, I can't root for Boston. I'm like, what, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, no, they're fine. Jaylen didn't know that, they're fine. Just Boston. Oh, wait a minute. Then I start taking it personally. Vinny, you're not rooting against Boston, you're rooting against me. You're rooting against me. Because I've told you many times, this house behind me, right here, this place, was built by Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I made my career in Boston. I feed my family because of Boston. And you're rooting against me and my family. But it didn't make them change their minds. That perspective didn't stop them. It was a whole avalanche of Boston hatred. And I understand what you mean because you're right. Like, role players become stars in Boston. Hey, who's the Celtics TV analyst? It's Brian Scalabrine, who may have averaged like 3 points. He may have averaged 3 points a game as a Celtic. He gave a press conference after they won in 2008 kind of as a joke. He went up there. He was like, oh, I know you guys been waiting to talk to me, but he won a championship and he's a star in Boston. Cedric Maxwell won a finals MVP years ago, and he's a radio analyst in Boston because his numbers retired. People, when they traded Marcus Smart, people said, oh, wait, how can you trade Marcus Smart? He's the heart and soul of the Celtics. No, he's not. He's the heart and soul of the Celtics. We need to retire his number. No, we don't. This is what happens. You're right. This is what happens in Boston. Everybody is elevated, which is probably why one of the reasons.
That's why people
People
hate.
like
That's
you.
why people hate your team.
Yep.
I'm not hating on the Celtics. Look, I don't want the Celtics to lose. For one, I'm a journalist. I don't have rooting interest in such things. Okay.
Oh, come on.
So
man.
don't.
Sure you do.
Look, this ain't. Hold on. I'm gonna give you a variation of that Rick Pitino speech. Right? Larry Bird not walking through that door. Kevin McHale not walking through that door. Robert Parrish not walking through that door. Those are Celtics I hate. Because I feared them. You know what I mean? I feared them. So it's not, don't, these guys are, they're non-offensive. You know what I mean? What does Jason Tatum say or do? Like, he takes too many threes and, maybe he's not as great as some people make him out to be, but that ain't his fault. You know what I mean? Jaylen Brown is okay with me. Jaylen Brown's a nice, intelligent brother that's grown his game, unapologetically black, all that type of stuff. He cool. I got no problem with that. So don't say that I'm rooting. They ain't Ohio State.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.